and it can be very difficult to understand how pressures and addictions actually affect a brain, particularly the mind of a kid or teenager.
So there's an event that's coming up trying to guide parents through this very difficult topic. Here to share a little bit more about that presentation on the adolescent mind is Morgan McArthur. He's a community resource agent for Sauk County UW-Extension office. Good morning. Good to see you.
It is good to see you guys at this very early time of the day.
It's late for us, but we thank you for that.
We have all the coffee.
So we were just talking before we started about how challenging it can be for parents, but I mean for kids themselves. I always say it's not easy for a kid to grow up, and there's actually science behind that, right?
Absolutely. When we were kids, look, and I've got more experience than you. I've got more miles on the road, but when we were kids, we thought, you know, there's a lot of pressure, but we can't compare our pressures to the pressures today. Social media and everything that is the world has accelerated, and kids are under incredible pressure, and they're making decisions with a brain that's not yet fully developed. And up in Sauk County, we have a very progressive opiate recovery program in place and developing a community collaboration. And I'm chair of the Education and Outreach Subcommittee, and we feel it's really important. This is an investment in the community's understanding of what it is that goes on in a kid's brain today, because they are so vulnerable. And decisions they make today can have lifelong consequences.
We've talked often on this program about wanting to protect and fix things for our children, right? Is this presentation about that, or is it simply about understanding? And how do you get that point across to parents and make sure they know that that's okay too, you know, incorporating all of that?
We've got a Brookfield inside of Milwaukee, Brookfield psychologist, adolescent psychologist coming to speak. I've listened to Dr. Fidlin speak, Dr. Brian Fidlin, and he will address that we've coddled kids to the point where they're so protected that it's like an immune system.
Sure.
You know, if you protect something so much from external pressures, then they can't respond appropriately. And Dr. Fidlin, in this presentation, will talk about the importance of letting kids fail and understand what's happened there.
How important is it for parents to understand that? I was telling you earlier, I mean, there's nothing more humbling to me on a daily basis than trying to parent 3 children and trying every day, not really knowing what the heck I'm doing. How important is it for parents to just acknowledge that, own that, to be able to address some of these issues?
Oh, sure. Toughest job in the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
And most important job in the world. Look, we know from studies that have been done coming out of California in the late 80s about the importance of and the impact of adverse childhood experiences on the trajectory of a life and the impact on health and decision making. So your job as a parent is absolutely the most important job in the world, and you'll hear elements of how to interact with the developing adolescent in this presentation.
Want to make sure people know when this is going on. This is Monday night on the 13th from 6:30 to 8:30 over at the Sauk Prairie River Arts Center. That's in Prairie du Sac. Free for people that want to come.
Free. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Danica is emceeing it as well?
I'm emceeing it, and you can also hear from Cora and Eddie, a fantastic couple that's gone through the drug court in Sauk County, kind of see how this opioid thing plays into everything else and mental health. So
I had a chat with Cora and Eddie yesterday, first time on the telephone, and I am just struck by their story. Yeah. And just very inspiring. You'll come and sit in that theater. You'll have an entire seat to sit on, but you'll be right on the edge of it for those 2 hours.
Morgan, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for your work, too.